Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to Game 3 ? As it's going to be a remade Game 2. Now, for everyone out there, just to update you all, Sylas was first picked by Changhong. Changhong picking up the Sylas, going into the Yorick matchup, tried to steal the ultimate of Yorick. Now, he was given the ability to do so. The only problem is his ultimate would go on cooldown, and he would not receive a Maiden. So that being the case, even after the chrono break, going back in the same situation, it happened again. That means that we're going to be having a remake. Also, it means a remake pick and ban, and Sylas has been a disabled pick. We'll have to see going into the future. Tomorrow, perhaps it might be a global ban because this is just a specific matchup into Yorick. So, we'll have to see what we can get here. Welcome back. It's going to be an interesting run. I think BLG might feel a little bit robbed, knowing that they had that early game down packed for Metoer. Very rarely see Metoer to have that much control. Now we have to redo it in this next one.
Yeah, you just have to walk away with the blow to your shoulder, the blow to your chest. It really does happen sometimes in these games, but fairness comes first for the team that can't use the ultimate. So we are going to see SinoDragons with a chance to get a better draft overall. Coach Sim still laughing about the situation, so their spirits does not seem affected.
Yeah, you gotta be able to boost the spirits of your team. You don't want to be coming in all down. If that's the case, you've already lost the game, I'm gonna be honest. So it's nice to see. Be honest to people, if we're talking about fairness, you can go into a composition where everyone has a bad ultimate, but at least they have an ultimate. At least that's the option. You didn't have an option, so we're going to have to see new game, new Changhong. Perhaps with all the scrim time he's had, it's going to be a test to see if he can go back to the old and feel comfortable, say on a Sion pick. What do you want to see out of Changhong? Because first pick priority is simply gone from him.
Oh, I want to see something far more aggressive. I like the Akali picks he's been throwing. I love this Camille. This Camille is one of those champions you look at it and it's just like, wow, this guy can really, really play. One of his best champions in the LDL overall. A lot of things this guy can do. He's also a Jayce player, can flex it around with Twila. And you know me, I don't like tank versus tank matchups.
Yeah.
Wet noodle fights aren't for me. I want to see bruisers. I want to see fighters.
Look, my favorite meta. Early game don't matter. Sion versus Cho'Gath. you just get the biggest tanks up top lane, rewind it until, I guess fast forward is what I mean. Fast forward 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you get some big, thick team fights. And it's all about the AD carries trying to keep this monster away from them. Whenever a Cho'Gath is walking at you slowly, your heart skips a beat.
You just don't like watching the top lane, do you?
I don't really. It's not really tickling my fancy. I don't like it.
Okay. I'm a top lane player. I like top lane matchups where there's very clear and concise winners. There's people who can come out with the outplays and stuff like that. You don't get that versus the Cho'Gath versus Sion matchup. So, Camille's where is that for me for Changhong?
All right, we'll see if he can pick it up here, if he's willing to. You could see the banners being highlighted. SinoDragons versus BLG. We're in Shanghai. Thank you to all of the fans. Thank you to everybody out there who's keeping the chairs warm, willing to see this one through. We are coming back into pick and ban where Kuro, Jinjiao, and ADT are the stars of the previous game. We're back at it. Just take a look at the bans. Camille, they heard your name. In fact, Changhong didn't even want to get a scene played, so it's going to be Camille, Zoe, Ezreal, banned by SDG. By Bilibili, they don't want to see Lucian, Cassiopeia, and the Aatrox.
Yeah, the Aatrox is the big one. A Changhong special. Basically, he's played that to much success in this split so far, as SinoDragons are going to go back to something they're very comfortable with, starting out on the Kai'Sa, and BLG with some light trolling here.
Yeah, it's interesting. Just hovering it over. That's a Kai'Sa being picked up. First pick, 54% win rate, but if you have 70 picks here, it's a bit unbalanced at the moment in time. That just makes it so SinoDragons are now going back to the idea of picking GALA, his greatest champion, on the Kai'Sa, seeing if it will work out. BLG locking in the Sivir. Wonder what their next pick. It might be a support here.
This is BLG's most played matchup pretty much. The Sivir into the Kai'Sa matchup. You get to push it out early. Super aggressive champion coming in from Mini. A chance to just straight up get a kill onto GALA, and they've been playing the laning phase so well these previous games.
Not a lot of priority on Alistar counter matchups. People just want that simple headbutt pulverizer combo. And also, it's a bit of a takeaway from Mark. Mark, who's been so good on the Alistar pick. And the Kai'Sa Alistar is just great ways to engage in the lane. That's going to be a Jayce pickup. We talked about it possibly going to Changhong, but Twila had an immeasurably strong game 2, question mark, with that pick. So he's confident, he's already rolling, he just wants the momentum back in his favor.
Interesting Rakan, however, right now. We haven't seen a lot of players go back to the Rakan. Usually it's been the Galio. There's been a almost complete replacement for the Birdman himself. Does very much the same job and has a global initiate, which you can use and combo up with your other pieces.
Yeah, he just received a lot of nerfs, and to his resistances, his ability to tank up, he's just becoming a squishier and squishier champion, which makes it going up against Alistar and Leona in particular a lot harder. So, for whatever reason, Kuro always wants to hover over the tree, man.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. He has a joke. It's an internal joke that we don't understand, which makes it unfunny. Galio being picked up by the side of SinoDragon. So, Kaisa, Jayce, Galio, likely support. They like to pick it into the headbutt pulverizer option because you're going to get taunted anyway. So it's a nice counter matchup, quote unquote, because you can just be able to nullify a matchup and still have that great ultimate for engage.
Definitely is the case here. BLG going on with their jungle bans. I'm guessing Nidalee and Lee Sin being taken away. SinoDragons, I think they still have a Skarner that does well against the Olaf or something like a Trundle, but they will have to pick something new.
Yeah, the Olaf was the hover and it's been locked in. Olaf was a pick that Meteor really wanted to pick up, got himself that advantage early on. Now you are Xiaopeng. Let's just say you had the ability to go back in time before all was said and done. So you don't get that child. You know, you don't have to make that mistake in your life. In this instance, the mistake is possibly the Nidalee. You know, maybe he wants to go Nidalee into this matchup, and that's not bad in per se.
Oh, it's already banned out, so.
There we go. Don't even want to see it. Nidalee and Jarvan are the bans, while Lissandra and York Mori. SinoDragons don't want to see that one anymore. Just scarred by it, honestly. Changhong is like, get this champion out of here.
Surprisingly enough, they actually still have Urgot on the map. That is a potential champion they could go for.
There he is.
I don't love the Urgot versus Sion matchup. I would prefer, like I said, Changhong something a little bit more explosive, a little bit more fun for our audiences here. Vladimir is the pick, a team fight nuclear bomb that can go in. Very good against Sivir, I would say, most of the time.
Yeah, might be a pickup here for mid lane, and it could be Changhong picking up the Jayce. So the Jayce initially was a flex pick, and I still think it could be. In fact, best thing about blue side pick, if you go between both of them, is by the time both teams have fully picked out their composition, you still don't have a real idea of where the Vladimir is going.
We've seen a couple Xiaohu games on the Vladimir.
That's true.
Willing to play that.
Also, for people that haven't seen the Snake series that just went by, the Vladimir for Flandre was exceptional. Guess what gets picked up here? Xiaopeng's delight. He goes to the Kindred. In the LDL, this was the champion that was highlighted from alongside the Nidalee. He's an exceptional Kindred player. And they know that if they're going up against the Berserker, Olaf still has to wait a little bit before he can get the execution damage.
Yeah, that's a common counter pick that we've been seeing in the LPL crop up over and over again. Kindred, with the carry potential, does win out so hard into the later phases of the game. Not the same things can be said for Olaf, does fall off quite hard, and SinoDragons, they have 4 carries to pour in the damage against BLG.
Yeah, and currently it looks like Twila is just holding on to the Jayce pick firmly, and it might just be a Changhong Vladimir top lane. So you're right, he's going up against the tank pick, just trying to see if he can A, scale up, but B, I wonder if he's going to go Kleptomancy, because that seems like a few free auto attacks. That's going to be what I'm worried about on the side of BLG. They have a pretty good composition. How about you tell me what they can do here?
Oh, BLG, they're rock solid as a team composition. They still have that map mobility on lockdown. A lot of lanes that can push on their own if they get proper jungle support. If Olaf beats out the Kindred early, then Ryze can do what he wants in lane, and I don't think Sion's going to be touched that much either. So they're pretty much hitting on the same notes. Strong and steady lanes and map mobility are the 2 key features for this team. For SinoDragons, it's about damage and playmaking potential. They're going to make this team fight very hard for Jinjiao to play out. So many champions that can just hit the back line from range, just go in with the pull, or even the Kaisa able to tag Sivir with the killer instincts as well. This is a team fight that if they can overwhelm their targets at once, they all go in at once, it's very easy for them to just shut off specific carries kill them really fast with damage, and finish off the rest of the team fight from there.
Now, this is probably the worst Venn diagram composition ever, because it's just going to be layered on top of each other. There's no real option you have. It's going to be Kindred ultimate, Vladimir ultimate. There's just so much that's going to be happening on top of that. I'm really worried for the Olaf to see how he can be able to, if he's not ahead of the pace, keep himself alive, because the damage is certainly there. The turnaround, it feels like this game could go back and forth if SinoDragons have the item for Vladimir. We're getting back into it. This is game 2, remade, rebirth. Let's get into it. He has another chance to make it happen. He has another chance to get the chance out there.
LGD now being the one put forward.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple more LGD chants every single day now since they took down the world champions of Invictus Gaming.
Lock them out. They're doing well. They're doing better and better. Oh, he's coming in as the. Come on, go back top lane. What are you doing here?
He's trying to front.
You gotta relax.
Respect that. That's the Afrika old trick.
Yeah, that's fair. Taking a look at the rune pickups, that is 5 inspiration trees across the board for BLG. I want to see how many of those are just the you know, little bit of sustain that they have there, or if it's turning into just outright stopwatches. That'll be fun to see.
Yeah, Biscuit and the stopwatches being the most popular options overall. Xiaopeng's going to have another aggressive pathing straight into Olaf jungle, reading out the path.
This time around, no blue buff, but he's still going to invade. Remember, the last time around in Game 2, they had the information. Coach knew that even though the blue buff was taken away, dig a little bit deeper. See if you can find the, if he's still on the next camp. So now, just because of the adaptation that was made, Metoer can't go full clear bot side any longer, and, you know, expect that Xiaopeng won't check.
Yeah, and he was spotted out on his way back to Wolves, so this should be a double scuttle start for Xiaopeng as well. Metoer is going to have to try and match him with the efficiency of his wave clear right now. I don't think he's going to be able to contest this.
Ooh, missed him out, but so close. Metoer is trying to hold this lane firm because it's a pretty bad position here for Twila. Oh my god, come on. Oh, gets him down, but he has to use cleanse. Now it's going to be Xiaopeng trying to push Metoer and Kuro back. Seems like a 2v2 in the mid lane.
That was a great win by BLG.
He's hurting him, dog. Stop it.
Twila really didn't think that they were going to continue with that play. Xiaopeng already showed himself with an auto attack on the side, but BLG just continued to go ham onto Twila. Surprisingly catching him off guard.
Presence of mind here for Xiaopeng. Usually if you're going into the primary tree of precision, you would see perhaps a triumph, especially with how kind of snowbally HP-wise you can get with your ultimate. But he wants his ultimate cooldown up far more often, so nice pickup that he has there.
It allows you to duel with the Olaf a lot better. Olaf, a lot of combat stats when he is low.
Boom.
But if he can't kill you, that's another matter.
He didn't get burned there. Getting into the sorcery tree. So Twila is just on point with this Jayce. I'm surprised we don't get to see it too often. Last time we got to see a Jayce pick, it wasn't too successful, but it was on Snake's Andy. Now we get to say that Jayce in Twila's hand is a big step. You know, primarily a support mid laner, Lulu, Zillion, trying to help out the other players, primarily Xiaopeng and Changhong. This time around, he's just saying, nah, give me the ball. I can do something with this. Try and support me.
That's a super interesting question on how Twila is actually going to develop as a player in the LPL. Like you were talking about, his champion pool did not suggest him to be someone that was going to play something like the Jayce, where you have to win out lane very hard early and be that sort of a solo carry style.
Oh my god, he's hurting him.
But he's doing it now, though.
Once he gets one more shock blast, he will kill Kuro, and he's under tower. It's actually much easier to get that hit.
Here you
Please.
go.
Stop,
Step
baby!
3. Oh!
Woo! I love this game. All right. He still had to leave the wave entirely, but he can come back slowly, knowing that the cooldown is expended from Twila, and he doesn't have the mana back. So close. Twila seemed like I was afraid that he wouldn't have the momentum with such a long pause from the certainly not game 2 to the reality of game 2. And he's definitely come back strong.
He's coming back even stronger. I like how Kuro played that as well. He was super calm on the walking back portion of that. Just dodges out on the shock blast, the gate blast without even looking back.
Just going through a lot of this lineup because we had a discussion about whether or not there'd be a few stopwatches. ADD is getting hurt. That was even a Crimson Rush Q. There's a stopwatch there for Olaf. The rest of them are really just going towards the...
This is cheeky.
Oh no, don't do it! Okay. Now I can finish my sentence. Which is the minion dematerializer on both the support and the top laner. I think a lot of it is just the Time Warp Tonic. Time Warp Tonic is just way too good at being able to just go straight for skirmishes. That's going to be a skirmish being on top of Xiaopeng. He should be able to take the Blast Cone here, so great. Put some bit of separation between the two.
Really good undertow usage by Metoer there as well. Small trick on the undertow is that the projectile actually flies a little bit longer than your cursor would suggest. So you want to throw it at their feet. I used to be an Olaf player as well. Played a lot of Olaf top lane. For a while, there was actually an Olaf main on the top of the Chinese server. Really fun to watch that one.
There are a fun few things to watch with just how certain one-trick ponies get to the top of the rank. Right now, there's a great Galio streamer, this Sun Wukong, and all he ever does is literally in his name, he plays Wukong. So, especially when the lethality changes went through, everyone was suddenly playing Wukong. He's a very strong champion. But you're right about the one about Olaf. There's a few fun interactions about him. It's not going to be a top Olaf. It's not going to be the Comet nonsense chase you down level 1 Olaf. Simply just the Olaf where, you know, already has the Predator boots. He has an advantage in terms of just experience, not by much, which is a big change from the last game. Changhong trying to just at least get some HP back.
I really like how the way ADD played that. Walks forward, tries to bait the ultimate out. It almost looked like he was going into his ultimate animation. He even had the roar going as well.
Ooh, Changhong. This is a road-esque skirmish. Ooh, doesn't see him. But he's worried.
It's a 3-man hit squad.
He's concerned. I don't even know if there's a third. There's the third man. Metoer is running him down. Predator proc coming through. Headbutt. Boom. Doesn't even need it. Just needs the pulverize. And that's the kill on the Changhong.
Oh, look at the amount of minion waves he's going to lose right there. And what an amazing play from Bilibili Gaming. You don't see supports roam like this anymore.
Last person I remember roaming like this. Shock Blast. Guys, the kill too. So well done. Just putting the hurt on Kuro. I think that was legitimately the scorch damage that killed him.
It was the Airy proc as well, going on to Kuro right off the cooldown.
Just solo kills across the map, and I'm just thinking GALA feels emboldened now that he's been seeing a lot of these deaths come through.
That was hype. That was hype. Twila just walked back, turns his head around with the last auto attack, knows that his Airy is going to finish the job, and that's one shock blast Kuro's not dodging out of.
He's just getting pushed under tower so consistently. All right, Alistar getting negated, has to head right back in shame. But under tower makes it so easy for the shock blast to hit. Nowhere you can really go there. So you can see this time around this game, Kuro doesn't have the same oomph that he had in the last one.
This is pretty hilarious, but if you look at the top side, ADD is actually building the Executioner's Calling against the Vladimir matchup. Now, the funny thing is, you're not even supposed to auto-attack the Vladimir. He's supposed to be out of range.
He's just going to Q you and slowly walk up to you with the auto-attack. That's the game plan. We'll see it at some point. He's on top of him, but surely right now we got to watch the main lane to watch, the one that's already expended the solo kill. Mark trying to get some vision control. Couldn't get the last hit on the control award. Thankfully, Alistar was able to just bat him away.
Would dodge out, and Twila is actually playing this lane quite safe at the moment.
Oh, Changhong helping out Xiaopeng. He's able to get it for himself. They're going straight on towards him. Shock Blast hits. Vladimir doesn't do enough damage, and he's going to have the safety from ADD. Oh my god,
the prediction
with him. Gets the kill on a Metoer, and maybe they can chip down ADD a little bit more.
Really good prediction coming in from Changhong. Knew that the sign was right there, uses pull, gets the extra slow, and they finish off the kill.
Beautifully well played by Changhong. Got the mental reset after the whole last 2 games happened, I suppose. Pulls underneath the Q from ADD. Now allows Xiaopeng to just go in for the Raptor camp. Now he has the experience advantage. Well done from SinoDragon.
At the SinoDragon's game plan coming online. Win mid hard, win the jungle 2v2 matchup even harder at this point. Then they're already peeing down the red buffs. The supports have been so incredibly active this game.
Ooh, autoing him down. Q doesn't hit. Hasn't been empowered by the shock blast there, so he's going to be fine there. But Twila has an advantage. And remember, if you've been watching a lot of the mid lane Jayces, give him blue buff because he's not building tier. So he gets blue buff for himself, so he can deal damage a little bit more frequently.
I really want to see where Mark is actually going.
Oh
my god, he still hit him.
Are you kidding me?
Through the minion wave.
Where has your Jayce been all my life? I thought he was missing that, but no, he did the maths. He knew too much.
SinoDragons, they should be doing this more in their draft strategies. I really like both Jayces coming out from both Twila and Changhong. Both of them very good on the champion.
Adds an extra bit of damage in this composition. For a team that has been consistently criticized for not having DPS in their composition. For God's sakes, GALA has the highest damage percentage of all players in the league. So for that factor to be to be relevant, it really is about the fact that your top laners playing tanks, your mid laners playing supportive picks, your support itself. There's no pike games coming in through. There's no damage anywhere else except for you. That must have been a point of a discussion because this game, Twila is a damage dealer and he's coming out trumps in this game.
Yeah, it's come out really, really strong against the grain. Not really what he usually plays for.
They're going straight towards Kuro, but no CC available. Mark is going to get stopped. They're just doing their darndest to hold this control ward steady. And just to even double it down, Meteor is picking up the Scuttle Crab in the bottom side of the map here. So there we go. With the Cloud Dragon able, no team wants to actually look to pick it up.
As first team fight, in terms of the strengths of each champion, I feel like it should still go to SinoDragons here. Jayce having a great game. Already have the serrated Dirk. Both of these items very crucial to his damage output.
Oh, and this is what's really been the slow burner in this game. ADD being able to just chip at this tower repeatedly. Demolish constantly. Lower cooldown. Remember, that's been the change that happens frequently. Xiaopeng finds the ward and just backs away. Thinking he can try and solo kill the dragon and roll the dice to see if the next one's any better. Oh, headbutt Pulverize going to be even eaten there. GALA is in a really comfortable position and Xiaopeng is coming out the later X. They're going straight for Mark. I don't think there's a way for them to turn it around. GALA took a lot of damage from the Q that Jinjiao threw out there.
Really like this play because this changes the dynamics of the dragon contest.
Boomerang Blade.
Meteor should be able to just sneak away with the Cloud Drake at this point. Very important when you're going up against a Vladimir. You want to stay away from as far away from him as possible.
The ward did die in front of him though, so he knows that this has been warded. Just got to respect Twila's damage. Look at the Ryze. There's no minion wave there, so Jayce can actually hold firm for a little bit longer. But there's just damage being taken on turrets across the board, and this should go over to BLG.
I want to see what SinoDragon do in their current position. They do have this phase on the map where they should have a slight item advantage. But the waves are just piling on.
It's a bit more brute forcing. Ever since the turret plating's been added, the decision for laners to either find a good back timing so they can come back on the map at the same time as the enemy dual lane, or just pick up as many turret plating as possible has been presented to them. And you can see there from Sivir. Sivir didn't have much mana and could look to go for a tempo base, but said, I could actually just get 2 turret platings for myself, and chooses that instead.
Oh, look at that damage incoming from Twila. Just another shock blast landing onto Kuro through the minion waves once more. Doing very well on the champion. It doesn't look like SinoDragon are actually able to push anything.
Yeah, not much coming in from SinoDragon. They're comfortable with what's happening on Twila. The only way they'll be calling an audible is if Twila hits a few more shock blasts on top of Kuro, then they can look for a dive around him. Something to take note of is level 12 is usually when the Kai'Sa ends up picking up her Q evolve. That's when the base damage is good enough. And with how much attack speed she ends up building, she gets to E just through items. But she needs the level 12 to be able to get her Q evolve.
Interesting observation.
This takes a bit of time, really. Right now, time is all that we have. There's so much vision control that you can't pick up, really. Okay, there we go. He was able to see it because you can see red trinkets are now being picked up. So Dragon inevitably is going to be going to BLG. Taking a look at this one, teleport coming in. GALA flashes away. You can't cancel that teleport. So ADD, wrong side of the map. What can you do with this one? They're going to commit towards the bottom lane tower. Is there response from the opposite side of the map? There's not much you can do. Vladimir has a lot to work on if he's going to be starting at turret number 5. There's no turret plating anymore, but he hasn't been able to hit it any moment.
And they're still going to get even more turret damage in the bot side still.
Kuro's going to get a lot of damage here. Oh my god, so close. Airy and Scorch, not enough damage, and Kuro comes out of that one alive.
Kuro was down to 40 HP on that single play. So close away from actually finishing down the kill there.
It's real close. Twila's just doing too well in the lane. At least he can come back with an Archangel staff, but so much pressure here. This is a really slow take on this, but it's been warded, so they cannot go for it. They're going to try it anyways. This is a really big gambit. The players from BLG should be here faster, so yep, get out of here. Don't even look back.
I really wanted to see SinoDragons actually use more of their advantage in the 2v2. I don't feel like this is something they've utilized well. They've had Mark in the top side of the map looking for a potential hero's entrance for several times now.
That's true.
But they never found any purchase to just straight get a 5v5 or even take away a buff from BLG. So BLG, with a pretty good defensive play from their mid lane, been allowed to basically walk away with the laning phase.
Yeah, I would also say Meteor being in proximity. The idea of a Galio engage is nice, but Olaf can get past that one pretty quickly. You have a lot of squishy champions on the map. Shouldn't be too much of a worry now. I mean, Kindred's on level 10, but is still a major threat with his ultimate. Keeps them alive for a little bit longer. Smite down. They're going to be able to get out. Do they have a getaway car? Yeah, they're going to be fine. Going to be able to get out of that one for free. They pick up the Rift Herald.
Turret lead to 2-0, however, and this is a time where BLG can start using that map mobility to clamp down on your team. There's going to be a lot of instances where you don't know where Kuro's going to be, where you don't know if ADD can come barreling down on the lane. And I feel like BLG have reached the point where this is exactly where they want to be in the matchup. Laning phase went fine. Sure, they took some bruises, some damage here and there, but no real kills. Not a lot of damage being done to change how the team fights.
Sign ultimate. Alistar headbutt pulverize will be able to pick up the Galio, but to the left, Twila has to flash out. Sub 50% HP. Changhong coming in, but he doesn't have a lot of members that will be doing damage. Xiaopeng will try and help out in that one. That's a stopwatch there from Meteor. Kindred ultimate is going to get the job done. Take a look at it. Eman is down. There goes Mark. Mark is actually so low here, and that's going to be ADD falling. So many members down for BLG, and they keep falling in like dominoes. Of course, Kuro is going to fall. Thankfully, Sivir, reasonably minded, heads on out.
That was insanely well played from SinoDragons. BLG were the ones to start the fight. They split the members up, but what I loved about that was SinoDragons ignored ADD. They went straight for the backline carries, Changhong walking down the ramp, and then a perfect follow-up with Xiaopeng. He knew he still had the ultimate in his hand. He was willing to bait BLG to stay into position, and they finish off all the kills.
The only reason they got 4 kills there was the massive bait of the Kindred ultimate. And had the Galio ultimate on top of him, thinking that they can get the kill, but Galio was baited on that one. A hectic fight, but when you have so many carries, so many damage dealers, you are always playing on that tightrope.
That was a 4-for-0 team fight coming in the favor of SinoDragons. Let's watch it again. Once more, BLG are the ones looking for the fight. They do go in. Mini doesn't get the WQ combo, it doesn't matter, but look, the most important thing is BLG actually are able to make it up the ramp and start dealing damage. However, look at those low health bars. No one, they're very far in the back. ADD can't really get them. Xiaopeng goes in at a 2v4 maneuver, keeps everyone alive, and then there's 2 members flying in from nowhere with semi-globals to help out, and they win what was started out as a 2v4 situation.
One thing I love about this composition is the Galio ultimate to help you on top of the Kindred ult. The fact that you can just tag team it, whoever's in there, you can CC you at just at the end of the ultimate cooldown, so the knockup will be there and we can prioritize our damage over yours.
So many trust falls right there.
Yes.
Ooh. That was really impressive to watch. SinoDragons and their team fighting has been one of my secret teams that I like to watch and dole out every then and now.
Stepping it fun. It's definitely fun to watch them team fight. They've done it so much. Even with BLG, you could say that a bit of a ragtag team. ADD coming in for the squad from MVP. Meteor, rookie. Kuro, a freak of freaks. Jinjiao stayed on this team, and Mini is just scorching new. All of the members from SinoDragons have remained from SinoDragons from last year, so everyone is new. The only change is, funny enough,
they're in the LPL.
Yeah, they're in the LPL, and also the coaching staff just a little bit. ADD with a reunion with the MVP coach, Saru. So there's a bit of a MVP vibe around there. Maybe that's emboldened ADD to play a little bit better, but it seems like it's the series for him.
Familiar situation for him. We're just looking down at the gold graph. Biggest lead is for Twila, but he is in 1v2.
What a playmate. Like, at that point, Meteor recognized with how forward Twila's been playing that he was going to look for it. It was at the same time as the Archangel staff had procced, or I mean the Seraph's Embrace activate item, which is just, gives you an extra huge shield. So there is no way you're going to be seeing Jayce 100 to 0 you.
Definitely has the defenses to walk away from that. The big change in the matchup so far actually should be in the bottom lane. Vladimir picking up multiple kills. So Changhong should be able to stop ADD from pushing his lane, which has been the case for the majority of the game. But this is when we're going to see that matchup really flip. I think Vladimir is going to have much more control on the bot side. And that will open him up to those flanks that we've seen Flandre pull off. Just a nuclear bomb coming in from nowhere and wiping off your carries.
Huge amount of AP is what you want out of him. He's already moving towards his Rabadon's death cap and has the stopwatch. So that's the best thing about it. Holding on to the stopwatch, you don't need to go to the Zonias, which has less AP out there. You already have the effect of it activatable. When you use it, the team fights even showcase that you've broken it, then you could just move into the itemizing at that point. So it's nice to see him prioritize the Rabadon's death cap and then slowly move on to the Zonias. He's going to be so hard to take down.
Just taking a peek at Twila's damage there, 245 AD. Ooh, that full combo should be over 1,000 damage at this point.
He's already got both of his lethality items ready, locked in. Jinjiao is alone. He's used up his spell shield. Dodges out the shock blast. He had his ultimate proc, so of course he had the ability to move out of it, but so well played. Crimson Rush is going to get him a lot of HP back, and ADD's got to respect it.
Good footwork by him. They're going for a dive. It's going to take a while, though.
Yeah, no one's flashing in front of that one.
Baron being taken by BLG.
You're right. They're in position.
No,
They're just clearing out vision. It's always difficult to say. We've been in the LPL for some time. What it means, if you have two people bot side, if you have any kind of composition that can rush it, then you just go for it. But good vision control over BLG. They've done the work. The steps are coming through. Now they just have to look for that pick. They have good pick composition on their side just through mini.
BLG definitely has a composition that can manipulate terrain so well, or pass through terrain so well. We've seen it multiple times from Kuro, where he has the most amazing teleports to just catch split pushing side laners out. I think that's going to be one big thing we're looking on the map. Currently, BLG don't have any deep wards, so if they want to make plays, oh, actually they do. We did see BLG actually ping out that ward inside SinoDragon's jungle. That could be a potential entry point for Kuro.
The potential. Kuro's holding onto the top lane, but not able to hold onto the tower. Goes down. They've been trying their hardest in the top side of the map. What this does mean now is that SinoDragons can go into the red side jungle a little bit more freely.
We'll see the Colonel throw out his predictions for the game. 72% in SinoDragon's favor.
He cares about the facts, the stats. The stats are what matters here. For him, he just saying the goal's in favor of SinoDragons. Why not? What is the formula? Do you know the formula?
No. I think it's, what I've heard is that it's based off the goal trajectory of all games being played in the past for the LPL.
Okay.
So they just say, okay, if you're 5K gold ahead, your percentages of winning are probably 85%. It doesn't take into factor anything like composition or player history, none of that. It's just purely based off of what the gold graphs look like in the past.
Okay, he's just dealing with the information that he has. And oh my god, Blast Cone play. We've seen this in the past. It's going to happen. It's kind of, yeah, they know that this is happening. Once you see it last time round, you start to really question it the second go. So BLG are going to have to move, but the HP is still alive. It hasn't been reset. In fact, they're just going to start to move on it their own. They know that this is happening. BLG need to be able to want to stop this. 3k HP. This is really low. They get the pick on the Xiaopeng, but he has his ultimate. He's utilized it. Teleport coming in from SinoDragon, but that's a kill onto Kindred immediately afterwards. Alistar goes down. Here comes the Vladimir 4-man ultimate, and here comes GALA. That is a straight wipe. Vladimir and Jayce, baby. They straight wiped BLG.
The amount of damage from that death cap going in was the nuclear bomb we were talking about. Insane damage, just wipes BLG off the face of the map. It looked so good for them. 2 early kills into that team fight. ADD coming in first. SinoDragons being out of position on their 2 members. Kindred not really getting any damage off at all, but they still win with just the Vladimir.
They hold on tight. Wait for the major carries. All they needed was Changhong, and they got the beautiful setup for the team fight. Take a look at this again.
We have to see that again. Xiaopeng really out of position. ADD, he came in at the right time. It was a teleport that allowed Changhong to get in the fight, but he was in that situation late. Watches his combo. Flash, ult, uses the Hex GLP 800, get a little bit more damage on the entire team. Tides of Blood to finish it off.
It's beautiful to see that happen. Proto Belt damage was the one that came through, but it all stacked up. And Jayce to follow up and take out anyone who was close enough to do so. That is the combination that BLG was fearing, that now might put them in a Game 3 situation. That's something they didn't even imagine was going to happen after the last one.
Now this is the reason why I feel Vladimir is a very good matchup into the Sivir. Sivir really can't get away from that situation. Low auto attack ranges, has to go face to face with the Vladimir. Not a lot of burst damage on the champion either to really just shut down the matchup at this point.
A wit's end here for Xiaopeng. Nice attack speed, magic resist you can steal. Really eyeing Ryze. Wants to be able to look at Ryze and say that your DPS is not coming out. Still a bit of a victim to the AD that Sivir can output. We saw how fast Jinjiao was getting to his itemizing point. Once again, just taking a look at his CS. 303 CS, 27 minutes into the game. He's been a CSing demon, been able to pick it up for himself. Nice cannon.
That's always
been speeding him up.
Now that's always the phase where Sivir can actually win any team fight, just with the crit procs if she gets lucky. There are no tanks on SinoDragon's side.
There's going to be a lot of damage, just a little bit. Ricochet crits on that one, so GALA has to be aware of that on the side lane. Right now, Sivir does a lot of damage from the side. Oh, she's going to be flanked here. Nice ability to get out of that one. Just oh no, but that's a lot of damage. Changhong blows her up.
It doesn't even seem fair. Where did Jinjiao go? He had such a good sidestep on the Galio. Dodges out on Twila's damage as well. But Changhong says, nope, try to dodge this.
That's your AD carry. That's your major wave clear champion off the map for some time. It might just be SinoDragons now looking for the inhibitor tower. A few champions out here. ADD looking for a possibility to engage. Take a look at GALA, who has no HP.
Changhong.
But they took down Changhong. HP still in Crimson Rush, but not going to be able to find a target to heal himself back up. 3 low HP targets. They still get the tower down, and they're going to be looking towards the inhibitor. Inhibitor is going to go down as well. Not much BLG can do about it, as they're now going to be heading back to base.
The damage difference is really showing in this fight. BLG had a great knock-up onto Changhong as he was trying to find purchase into the back line. They get him down to less than 500 HP, I would say, but still unable to close out on the deal.
This goes to show how afraid BLG are at this stage in the game. They are 9k gold back, so you can't be, throwing that one to the side. It's significant. And the gold is all down on Vladimir, Jayce, and Jayce now. So all of the major carries have it, and the team is rigged with carries.
Yeah, when a team with 4 carries get to the late game and none of them are shut down, this is the team fight you kind of expect to happen. Not even your frontliners can really deal with it at this point. BLG, they need some miracle luck with Jinjiao, some crits on crits with the Ricochet to make it really happen.
He has 90% crit. He's getting there. He's really inching towards it with the Zeal pickup that he has. So you do have to hope that he gets it for himself.
There's nothing that can really take away targets from the Lamb's Respite. Of course, you have Mini who can possibly do it.
I would love to see what the range is for Xiaopeng. I think he has, it looked like it said that he had 10 stacks. That would be humongous. I'm not too certain about that. But that just means that Kindred could really be staying at a distance. So really good to see right now that they can go for this. But Headbutt Pulverizer comes out. It's going to be Twila that actually is in a really comfortable position. So full disengage here from BLG after the Headbutt Pulverize.
Actually, nothing expended right there for Twila. Not even the cleanse having to be used.
Yeah, walked out. It was really just the Galio ultimate. The moment the Galio ultimate came through, he felt like he was safe enough. But that just means that the follow-up, Kindred ultimate on top of Galio ultimate won't be available. That's a 3-man taunt. Right straight through to pick off Olaf. But Olaf is safe and sound. Really, it's just BLG completely pushed away from the inhibitor. Leaves it wide open. But in comes Jinjiao. Super speed. Look at that movement speed. Twila, no HP, and has to back away.
That was such a crucial defense from Kuro. He actually held Changhong at the gates of the inhibitor, and you could see Changhong didn't have his ult off, didn't have his flash off, so the engage effectively was stopped by Kuro, room prisoning the correct target, making sure that Changhong couldn't do what he did in the previous 2 team fights.
Getting closer and closer to his static Shiv. I think he has it. He's kind of debating. Look at him, uncertain. So close to the point where he can just be a demon as a Sivir. So just taking a look at it. We're inching closer, 30 seconds until Baron comes up, and I don't think he has it. Now he's basing. So it's a real big question. Now he has it. That's a static Shiv alert. Jinjiao has his full items there. Still has one more slot available for a defensive item, or can just hold for a control ward.
Are you ready for a big 5v5 team fight? Both sides, they have all summoners on their carries. They're ready to butt heads into each other. The key factor for BLG is just to make sure Changhong can't get to the back lines. Try to keep him out. You have the ADD, Decimating Smash, have the Alistar, have those eyes targeted on him.
Major concern is that the Jayce damage not coming through because ADD is playing the right role. Space tanking a lot of it. Twila has to be able to get the squishier champions. Yeah, he was able to hit Jinjiao. It's almost as if he's not missing. Baron was started up.
Changhong going in.
He's in there, but Headbutt Pulverize needs to get up out of there. Didn't get to use his ultimate, so it's still fine for both teams. Changhong should still be able to remain on the map. Could actually just heal off of the Baron and run away. So you can see he's actually taking a lot of damage. I'm trying to figure out how so. I think they started up on the Baron. Yep, that's going to be it. They're on top of Baron. You can see that just Mark trying to start up the fight. Mini and ADD taking quite a bit of damage. They are all ready for it, but they are insistent. Inhibitor on the top lane is down. So Ryze has to be there to be able to hold the wave.
Once again, SinoDragons are starting out on the Dragon.
It's going down really quickly. 4K, 3K, 2K. You have to get the flash off if you're Olaf, but they're holding it up. Kindred ultimate is still up and available, so you can delay it. He's in there. Alistar is down and no steal available.
Yet Meteor only tried it with the overtow. Didn't even want to expend his flash. It could have been a game end if he did fall down right there. But it does look a bit weird since Mini did go in, but the Olaf did stay out of the situation.
Let's see if we can find the Sivir. There she is, who wins the fight. Kindred still has ultimate. And it's going to be, you know what, you could throw in a few more autos, Jinjiao. I'm just putting this one out there. He's going to be surrounded, though. No way you can get out with the Vladimir, and that's a kill.
This is going to be an MVP, I feel, for Changhong. Correcting his wrongs in the series so far.
You were right when you said it was a blessing in disguise to not be having the Silas. The game has gone long enough, and he's proficient enough on the Vladimir to be really making an impact here. And he has his Magi starting to stack up, so he's huge.
16 stacks on the Magi's already. I feel like SinoDragons has found the sweet spot in the meta against BLG. You can go for the Kai'Sa first and have a counter for the Sivir in terms of the team fight. Sivir, very low range.
Headbutt Pulverizer shouldn't be followed up on. Twila's going to be fine. Nothing there. But the question is whether they're going to stick around. Kindred is going across map to get to his team. They are just
low, though.
They're following on the bottom lane wave. While you're low, you're right. He has no way to sustain right back up, so they're going to have to give that one up.
The key for BLG is that they can actually still win a front-to-back team fight. As long as they keep Changhong out like they did in the previous Baron scuffle, they still have a chance for Jinjiao to just pop off and deal most of this damage. We're not talking about we're not talking about like 5 seconds of DPS from Jinjiao. All it takes is really a good Q, maybe 3 seconds of his ricochet, and he could decimate the entire team. Very hard to do in practice. Of course, we still have to respect the gold lead that SinoDragons have, but it is still in the realm of possibility.
You also have what seems like a 30% cooldown reduction here for the Ryze. And the Ryze is, while has been kept down for the game, starting to come online. 35 minutes is enough time for you to be able to have your machine gun damage. So here we go. Not really be able to get that one. Weird interaction, but Xiaopeng is just fine. Nice shock blast on top of the Alistar. That's a bit of chunking damage. Ultimate being used by Sivir, maybe just to buff up her attack speed, but no damages are coming across. That inhibitor needs to be held up. That is the third inhibitor down. SinoDragons actually have the top lane wave coming too. Where is the line going to be drawn by BLG?
They find Jinjiao. He actually makes it out though.
Oh my god. Oh, he gets right in there. Stopwatches too. GALA is in a really rough position in between a rock and a hard place, but is not taking damage. Takes down the tank. Down goes Olaf and Sion. There is no way for you to come back. Even throwing in the Kindred ultimate as salt on the wound. Okay, knock him up. Why not? Just end the game. We're going to a game 3. SinoDragons finish that one off.
And what I was so impressed about this game is SinoDragons' team fighting abilities. Their members trust each other fully. They were the best team in the LDL, the best the LDL has ever seen in terms of success. And you can see that team cooperation on full display. GALA going in 1v3 in front of the fountain, knowing that he was going to have backup from his jungler, Xiaopeng coming with the Lamb's Respite. It's just too much for BLG to handle, and they overrun them in the 5v5 aspect.
It was huge, huge plays. You can see how slow this game was coming up until about the 16-minute mark, and then it just went wild in favor of SinoDragons.
BLG, they actually held on with the early lead. They had more towers, a 2-tower advantage. They were looking for a team fight, but they just kept getting baited by SinoDragons to go in again and again, thinking that they had the kills, they had the trump card in hand. SinoDragons actually outplayed the mobility. They have GALA fly in from half a map away to finish off that first team fight. And Galio as well, Mark's Galio to follow up that as well. So just, I really did enjoy that team fighting fully from SinoDragons. It was just so many moments where you thought it was going to go BLG's way, they were going to lose members, but just more things popping on top of each other.
Kept happening.
Hero plays, trust falls, catching each other in the nick of time.
They must have practiced this composition time and again in the hands of so many teams, or just like some teams out there. It's actually such a tightrope composition to utilize. If one thing goes wrong, if one member doesn't know his position or where he is currently placed, he can get eviscerated. Or if the Vladimir is in a position where he doesn't have those 3 items, right, then he's much easier. You won't be able to dish out as much damage. Healing in return won't come back. It really is just them being confident enough of when the Kindred ultimate comes out. Xiaopeng was spot on, and whenever he needed to use that Kindred ultimate to really make it a nightmare for that Olaf. So well played to him.
Yeah, definitely. A super on the edge game for SinoDragons. A game that I felt BLG has already reached their win conditions in controlling the map. But one team fight, one mid-game team fight around Drake was all SinoDragons needed.
Now you mentioned, it was shown in the gold graph too, 16 minutes going forward. The team fights is really what got them into the game. A little bit of it, BLG had control, but it felt like Kuro, the mainstay player from BLG, never had control. It felt like that was the case. What do you think?
Yeah, I felt like Twila had a really good matchup against Kuro, and the way he played it was he was willing to chase him down into the side lanes. He never really let up the pressure. Even with the Olaf around, a lot of the times he was playing in the face of a 2v1 situation just to make sure Kuro could not get on the map. So very risky play, but it pays off for the young mid laner.
There we go. Gets it off. And the history might not show the last Twila game that he got on Jayce, even though it got scrapped, remake went through. But this is the one that you want to see. Twila had an excellent performance, and we'll be seeing if Game 3 goes in his stead as well. We'll see you guys after the break.